Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray, and we are here to jump into episode 12, the penultimate of Pit Babe. Alright, so I'm hoping to wrap up both 12 and 13 today in today's recording session. Last episode, which I watched about a week ago, so not too long ago, comparatively. Last episode we had obviously confirmation that Charlie's not dead. He's in fact recuperating under Jeff's watch, and with the assistance of Babe's dad. But of course nobody knows that because they all don't know how they're all interconnected, but we the audience know, so some dramatic irony there. But I'm quite interested to see what'll happen when Babe comes face to face with his biological father again, and finds out yet another lie that Charlie has told him. Not about the dad, because Charlie doesn't know about that, but about being dead. So we did get confirmation that they used a drug to like slow down his heart and whatnot, and that's what tricked his body into thinking it was dead, and therefore transferring the powers back to Babe, etc., etc. So now we also we ended on a cliffhanger, of course, because we had Ken and Pete's story in last episode. And it ultimately ended, or well, we don't know how it's ended. We'll find out in this episode, I think. But at least the episode ended with Pete being strangled by Ken, who's crying above him because Ken is in love with him, you know. But Pete's kind of moved on to, what's his name? Way? Pete's kind of moved on to him, so I don't think it's going to work out for Ken. I think Ken's going to die, y'all. I don't think he's going to make it. But, alright, let's get into the next episode. Alright, here we go. Now, I think Ken is going to die, but do we think Pete is going to die too? Or is Pete about to fold? Because I feel like it could go either way. Because I like Pete for as much as we know him, you know? And I feel like we've known the most about him in this episode, or last episode, but I do also feel like the narrative could survive without him. I tell you one thing, I like their chemistry way more than him and Way? Whatever. They have better chemistry. Just these two actors, they're better together with each other, for sure. I also think that their story is more interesting. Yeah, why the stuff with why is so half baked. I don't want to get into it, but the stuff between Pete and Way, whatever, is very half baked. Like, and by that I mean, it doesn't feel like we put enough screen time in it for me to care about them or for them to care about each other. We had the one scene where they saw each other across the bar or whatever, you know, like the meme. But like, other than that, like just like their conversations are very, you know, thin, very basic. They're just, and we haven't spent enough time with them, and like I don't know if we care to. Like, I don't know if I'd care to, but like but in terms of setup, like the initial meeting and the overall way the story would work, these two story is more interesting to me, more intriguing to me, than whatever's going on over there. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Let's keep going. I'm sure some people out there like Pete Y. Sorry, bud. I'm just more drawn to him and his character. Also, this is so angsty that I'm just super into it. Way. I'm thinking why because of Bad
มันไม่คุ้ม
Buddy.
กันหรอก มันแค่ทำตามคำสั่ง
Bad Buddy is like seared into my brain. Everything is related to Bad Buddy for me.
นี่คุณ
Yeah.
จะห้ามไม่ให้ผมตามไปเคนตะไปทำไม
Yeah, I just don't
ต่อ
like
ให้
their
มันจะทำตาม
chemistry.
ที่ป่าสั่ง
I don't like their chemistry at all.
แต่เป้าหมายมันก็คือการฆ่าคุณอยู่ดีนะ
I think that's my problem. Is that it's just, they're not doing it for
ถ้าผม
me.
ไม่บังเอิญมาอยู่ที่นี่อะคุณจะทำยังไง
This music is trying. It was like whoop, the strums right when he said that.
ได้สิ ไม่งั้นคุณไม่มาหาผมที่นี่หรอก นี่คุณใช้เซนส์อ่านใจผมเหรอ
Did we know that already? That he had the
ผม
ability
ก็
to
ไม่
read
ค่อยอยากใช้
minds
เท่าไหร่หรอก
when he touches
แต่ถ้า
people?
มันจำเป็นก็ต้องใช้
Or does he not
ไม่
need
คุ
to
ณไม่
touch
ยอมรับ
people?
ความจริงสัก
Maybe.
ที
แต่ถ้าเราฝึกเด็กพวกนี้ดีๆ มันก็ยังพัฒนาได้อีกนะครับ
เด็กอัลฟาพิเศษเนี่ยมันเป็นสิ่งที่มีติดตัวมาตั้งแต่เกิด มึงจะเอาไอ้พวกขยะพวกนี้มาฝึกอะไร
There we
ดูอย่าง
go.
มึงสิ กูฝึกมึงมากี่สิบปี มึงได้เรื่องไหม มึงก็ยังเป็นแค่คนธรรมดาอยู่ดี
What an whole asshole. So are you? Are you an alpha? Like, when are we gonna have that conversation, by the way?
ไอ้พวกนี้แม่งก็เล่งกูอยู่ได้
This dude is so nasty. Like, I have never hated a man more. Oh, okay, so he's gonna go after Jeff. Does he know where Jeff is? It's very unclear, even though he really should. By all, rules of logic, he should know where Jeff is because he's had constant surveillance on the garage. So why did he never know that Jeff was there? I guess is my question. This looks like he about to get kidnapped. Yeah. Hey Pete, what's up? This music is musicking though. Goddamn. Hold up. Yeah, he's gone, hun. Okay, listen. Why in the world do we think that we were fully safe here? Like, is my question. Like, we went from the garage owned by him to the house owned by him. Like, if I'm looking for these guys, this is the first place I'm looking. Like, personally. Me personally as a bad guy. This is the first place I'm going. Like, I feel like we're not thinking things through. He didn't take his phone? You didn't have to do all that. You could have just taken it out of my pocket. It's not like he was reaching for it.
เฮ้ยมึงอะกูให้
His hair. All right. Now, is it because he's
ที่เป็น
distracted
พี่
or
ถึง
is
ชา
it
ลีมใช่ไหม
because his senses went back to Charlie?
ตอนที่พลังกูหายไปใหม่ๆไอชาลีมันก็ทดสอบด้วยการปาผลไม้ไป
So if he, is fine,
แล้วกูก็รับไม่ได้
like as he's healing, his senses went back to Charlie. I kind of hate that.
พลังกูมันย้าย
You
ไปได้
already know that I don't really like the idea of the senses moving from him to Charlie in the first place, but I also like the idea that, he felt like he was dead because his senses moved back. So it's like a temporary exchange. I mean, I know that they're going to end the series with them both taking the cure anyway. Or at least, certainly Charlie is going to take the cure.
ชาลีแล้ว
But you all know how I feel about, magical
แต่ตอนนี้
people
ชาลีมันตายไปแล้วอะ
ending a story non-magical,
Let's
which
say
is,
มัน
I
กลับมา
hate
ที่
it.
ตัวกูแล้ว
So, but I already know it's going to happen, so it is what it is.
ทำไมกูยังรับไม่ได้วะ
เซนพี่อาจจะเพิ่งกลับมาก็ได้มั้งใช่ไหมน็อต
ใช่ครับพี่เบฟ
Sure.
ผมว่าก็ค่อยเป็นค่อยไปนะพี่ อย่าไปรีบ เดี๋ยวมันจะยิ่งแย่
Honestly, Babe has been through so much bullshit because of this everything. From Tony to Charlie to Wei, everybody. Just putting him through the fucking ringer.
หรือว่าฉีดแบบนี้ไปก่อน ทุกๆ3 ชั่วโมง แล้วลุงจะรีบไปหายาตัวใหม่ ที่สามารถระงับพลังแบบถาวรให้ได้
ขอบคุณครับ
Every 3 hours is actually crazy.
แล้วนี่จะไปไหนล่ะ
I thought he was going to say something like every 3 days. Every 3
Mm,
hours?
definitely
Oh
good
my
one.
god.
เดี๋ยวมีใครเจอเขา
Like, do they know how many fucking shots those are? Every 3 hours? Jesus Christ. Wait, oh my god. This like, what is that? What is that, like, a 7? No. 8 shots in a day? Assuming you have to do that through your sleep cycle? Like, I mean, obviously if you are allowed to, not do it while you're asleep, let's assume 8 hours of sleep, let's say, then you would have what? Yeah, it would have to be like 6 or so. Maybe 5. I mean, you could probably get away with 5 shots. Something like that. A day. Every 3 hours. Oof.
เรื่องจะไปกันใหญ่
ไอ้คิมไปเร็ว
เลี้ยวขวาดิลุงเลี้ยวขวานะขวา
We could have gone straight to the car.
เนี่ยมันอยู่แถวนี้ดูดิลุง
Why did we need that
ไป
scene?
จอดตรงนี้นะลุงจอดตรงนี้นะ
This is what I mean. This is what I mean by, like, I feel like there's just there's both scenes missing and scenes we don't need. We didn't need that conversation to happen there. We could have had we could have just either cut straight to them in the Jeep, or we could have had that entire conversation in the Jeep. Like,
ตรงนี้
also would have helped with the sense of urgency of, hey, I don't know where my boyfriend is. I'm,
เนี่ยดูดิลุง
frantic, searching everywhere,
ไม่เห็นมีอะไรเลย
etc., etc.
ดูหน่อยดิ
เนี่ย
Like, there's no urgency right now happening.
ลองถามดูดิ
น้อง พี่ถามอะไรหน่อยดิ
ไอ้เชื่อมึงก็โง่แล้ว มึงอยู่กับมันมาเป็น10 ปี อยู่ๆอยากเปลี่ยนใจกำจัดมันเหรอ
I mean,
ทำไมคิดไม่ได้ตั้งแต่แรกเหรอ ท
ที่ผ่านมากู
That
อ่อน
could
แอ
happen
เอง
at any time. Yeah. Liberation
กู
can
อ่อนแอ
happen
เอ
at
งที่
any
ไม่กล้าสู้
time.
กับป๋ายอมให้ป๋าหลอกมาเรื่อยๆว่าถ้ากูทำตามที่เขาบอกเรื่องทุกอย่างมันก็จะจบครับซึ่งถูกรับในนามบริษัทนอมินีที่ชื่อว่า T World
Okay, so he's funneling it through a
แต่ว่า
company.
ถ้าลองตรวจสอบดีๆเนี่ยทรัพย์สินพวกนั้นไม่ได้ถูกใช้ไปในนามบริษัทเลย
ก็ป๋าไม่ยอมหยุด ผมจะหยุดได้ยังไง
Like, really? This is never going to end until he's 6 feet under the dirt.
แต่คราวนี้ผมคงช่วยคุณไม่ได้หรอกนะ
Okay. So we're finally going to see all of this. I actually don't think it was a good idea to move this scene to here instead of showing it in the episode in which it happened. Because it would have made us feel more for Ken
ขอบคุณมากนะครับ
and have a
ที่คราวก่อนยอมช่วย
deeper
ผม
understanding of his character earlier, you know. Instead of dumping it all in the last 3
ผมแค่จะมาเตือน
episodes, would have been better to spread it
ว่า
out
ค
a
รั้งนี้
little
ป๋า
bit
ของคุณ
more.
เอาจริง
I mean, it's been I actually do think that Ken's character has had some pretty good, character growth and a pretty good character arc comparatively, especially with some of the other characters in the show, who are not, Charlie and Babe, but I do think that scene would have been better just left in the episode in which it
คุณ
happened
คิดจะทำอะไร ก็รีบทำซะ
and actually build us up to that emotional moment between him and Pete and him crying over the idea of trying to kill him, etc., etc. So
ทำสิ่งที่พวกมึงต้องการ ป๋าคือคนที่ให้ชีวิตกู กูไม่มีวันหักหลังเขาเด็ดขาด
all right, sir.
แล้วเมื่อไหร่มึงจะตาสว่างเลิกทำตัวหน้าโง่เป็นหมารับใช้ป๋าสักทีวะ
It's the way he makes everybody call him dad. This dude is so nasty. Like, I can't. Don't he is so nasty. Like, the way he makes everybody call him dad.
มึงคิดว่าชีวิตตัวเองดีกว่ากูนักเหรอ พวกมึงลืมกันไปแล้วเหรอ ว่าถ้าไม่ได้ป๋าช่วยชีวิตเอาไว้ ป่านี้พวกมึงจะเป็นยังไง
Probably would be
มีแค่
fine.
ป๋าเท่านั้นแหละ ที่ให้ความรัก แล้วก็ชีวิตที่ดีกับพวกมึง สุดท้ายพวกมึงมาตอบแทนป๋าแบบนี้เนี่ยนะ
He's a whole human trafficker, sir.
มึงพูดถูกนะเว้ย
What?
ที่พวกกูไม่ได้มีอะไรดีไปมากกว่ามึงโทนี่มาสั่งว่ามึงต้องทำอะไร
Right? Like, you have worth as a human being. Like, outside of whatever the hell Tony filled your head with. You're a living, breathing human being, honey. I still don't think he's gonna make it, though. I think he's still gonna die.
หลังท่านหรอกครับ
Do you want him to
ถ้าแก
betray
จง
you?
รักภักดีกับฉันจริง สิ่งที่แกควรทำก็คือกำจัดพวกมัน
ผมต้องแลกด้วยชีวิต ผมก็จะพิสูจน์ให้ท่านเห็น ว่าผมไม่มีวันหักหลังท่านนะครับ
แลกด้วยชีวิตเหรอวะ
You wanna say something? How he's
Chewie
worthless or
Kogan.
something? Yeah.
มันมีค่าขนาดนั้นเลยเหรอเคนตะ แกอย่าประเมินชีวิตแกสูงเกินมานักเลย
อย่าทำแบบนี้เลยนะครับ ขอร้องเถอะนะครับ
It's actually so awful. No. I keep thinking he's gonna like pull out a knife or a gun and just shoot his ass or something.
กูไม่เคยเห็นมึงเป็นลูกว่ะเคนตะ กูเลี้ยงมึงเหมือนหมาไง มึงยังไม่เข้าใจอีกเหรอ
Yeah, we all kind of saw that. I mean, he don't treat his sons that much better. Like, let's be honest. Sorry. But he's creating this kind of false hierarchy in order to assert control over the entire fucking organization. I need this man to die. I don't need him to go to jail. I need him to die. Listen. If he goes to jail, then I need him to get killed in jail. Something. I don't care. But, like, I just... No. Jail is not enough for him. I'm sorry. Oh, this fucking guy. Oh, I forgot he existed. I'm sorry. I, like, completely forgot he was a thing.
ต่อไปนี้แกดูทุกอย่างแทนเคนตะด้วยนะ ครับ
หลับซะ
No! I was like, that was so goofy. we had the courier, and then a guard with a gun, and then him. Like, why was he just sitting in the car watching this whole thing happen? Where was the car's right there? Like, he was just sitting in the car, like, how interesting. This is funny as hell.
ว่าแล้ว
He was just like, yo, watch this.
วางลง บอกให้วาง
The way that did not make a sound. Foley.
กระเป๋านะครับ
Foley, guys. What was that?
บอกให้วาง
What was it? This is just purely like styrofoam. So, like, what the hell? They did not even try to make that sound like an actual pipe. Like, I understand that he can't hit him over the head with that if it was a real metal pipe, but they should have, like, either swapped it out or something, just giving it different Foley. Mission failed. Oh, he deserves to get this gun stolen from him because he turned around instead of saying, hey, you guys walk all the way over there till I can't see you anymore. Or just shoot him. Confirmation for him
ผมว่าพวกมันต้องเข้ามาป่วนงานคุณ
that
โทนี่กับพวกนี้
Charlie
แน่ๆ
really is dead, maybe.
Hey,
Did he ever know Charlie's abilities? That was unclear as well for me. I didn't Charlie get out before Tony understood what his powers were? Or did he find out after? I can't remember.
กลายเป็น
Sorry.
3
It's
เท่าเลย
been
นะ
a while since I watched
มัน
those
จะได้เข้ามาป่วนใน
episodes.
งานไม่ได้
Oh, he looks so good right here. Oh my god. Like, listen. Look at him. This is a beautiful man. This is a beautiful man, y'all. That's all I got to say about it. That's it.
เรามีโอกาสที่จะกลับไปเป็นแบบเมื่อก่อนไหมวะ
No. You literally assaulted me. What? What?
เหมือนเมื่อก่อนยังไง
All the lies? Right? Like, before, it was all a lie. You were gaslighting me for 10 years. Like, what are we talking about? Can we go back to when you were lying to me? For our entire friendship? What?
แบบที่กูยังเป็นคนสำคัญของมึงอะ
ก็อาจจะมีได้สักวันหนึ่งนะ
Yeah, because if we know one thing, it's that Babe is a forgiving soul. He is a forgiving soul. He's very emotionally connected to the people around him. Couldn't be me though. Sorry. I hold grudges and I cut people out of my life completely.
ขอโทษสำหรับทุกเรื่องที่ผ่านมา
Scars from his every 3 hours shots. God damn, that's a lot of fucking shots in a day. Oh yeah, he's gonna see him as a kid or something. Like, sorry, Babe is a kid. Oh no, Babe now. But from afar, like he's a stalker. He's gonna be like, oh, now what the hell is this?
ทำไมถึงตามไม่ได้ล่ะ ลุง
Sir,
อยากรู้
just
ว่า
say
ลูกชาย
that.
คนเดียวของลุง
Yeah.
ร้ายดียังไงเท่านั้น
Good Lord, just say that that's my son. I got a bunch of pictures because he's my son.
ใช่ ลุงคือพ่อของเบฟ
Just
ขอเชิญงานศิล
the
ปะออก
worst
มาประ
piece of
มูล
shit. And you know, I'm watching this right in the middle of all of the shit that's happening with P. Diddy and you know, after you know, all the shit that was happening that started to be uncovered with oh god, what was her name? It was basically the Harvey Weinstein shit and like it's yeah.
โดยเด็กที่ทางตระกูลดูแลนะครับ ขอเชิญงานประมูล
This is
ชิ้นที่หนึ่ง
not
ได้
out
เล
of
ยค
the
รับ
realm of possibility. This is very real. Rich ass people exploiting, human trafficking kids. This is in broad daylight under the guise of entertainment or business or whatever.
และชิ้นที่หนึ่งเริ่มต้นขึ้นแล้วนะครับ เป็นงานประติมากรรมนะครับ ราคาเริ่มต้นที่1 ล้าน
We're
บาท
selling this
บิด
art
ครั้งละ
piece.
500,000 เริ่มได้เลยครับ
1,500,000
1,500,000
เราจะได้รวบไปโทนี่แล้วก็เศรษฐีชั่วๆพวกนั้นให้หมด
ฉันจะไปช่วยเจฟ
The way the cops are so fucking useless. The way these random guys, well, they're not random because they're all mixed up in this, but like the way these race car drivers just did all of this. That punching Foley. All right, well, let's get out of here with the kids.
ไปหนีก็เร็ว ไป
We're not leaving these children. What the hell? Snatch their asses up and get the fuck out of here. No, I'm sorry. What? Did we just leave the children? Why? Why did the show do this, y'all? Why did the writers do that? Tell me, please. It's one thing if they tried to take the kids and, you know, a bunch of guards came in and said, hey, stop, what are you doing? And, you know, they tussled and they ended up not being able to take the kids or something like that. But, like, no, they looked those children dead in the eye and said, peace. After, and this is like literally in the same episode in which they were pleading to Kenta, hey, think about the children. What about the children? This is the thing that makes me not be able to enjoy this show. This is the kind of stuff that makes it hard for me to enjoy this show fully. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be 100% with y'all, okay?
.ที่พวกผมถือวิสาสะเข้ามานะครับป๋า
เชิญ
God. Imagine him. He's been doing this for like 20 years, y'all. Like 20 years of this shit. Because these guys are grown ass men. Like, are we assuming that Pete is from like one of the first generations or something? Or is he like second? You know? Like, how long truly has Tony been doing this shit? Oof. Whoa. Damn. Got him. Oh, of course. That's how I thought they were gonna meet again. Oh, he has like a concussion right now, so it's gonna be all blurry, like, did I see what I really saw? And then pass out, one of those things. Or he's gonna be completely awake, you know? Okay, there we go. That was the penultimate. We've confronted Tony in his, you know, at this charity function or whatever, this charity auction where he's auctioning off artwork, but actually he's auctioning off the kids that are presenting the artwork. And then like he can put it on his taxes, you know, like he can get a tax write-off or some shit like that. Because he's, you know, auctioning off art, you know, for the sake of a charity. But to get a whole tax write-off off of selling kids. Yeah, anyway. Can't wait for them to murder this man and then crap on his body and then throw it into the woods to be ravaged by animals and bugs, and then let nature take him back into the abyss, you know. Anyway, we didn't get a resolution to, you know, that was like such a false cliffhanger, because like they ended the last episode with the cliffhanger like, oh my god, is he about to kill Pete? And the answer is no, and neither did he die. They just, you know, ended the fight. And he got away. Like, that was it. Now obviously we had to have the moment of Wei coming in to save Pete so that they can have a, you know, a extended stare at each other and talk about how, you know, they're in love or something. Like I said, I'm just not invested in that relationship. I'm sorry. I feel bad because I can tell that the show really wants me to enjoy or like them, but I just don't. I just don't. So, there it is. Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. You can't always like every character or every relationship in the series, you know? So, that's fine. Now, in terms of Ken, though, I still continue to enjoy his whole arc. Yeah, that scene of him trying to get back in Tony's good graces and Tony just treating him like less than shit, just trash. It was actually hard to watch. It was actually really hard to watch. Because he's so messed up and he's so broken down, and it's just like, because he had a different, like I said, he had a different experience. And that's because, you know, Tony created this kind of false hierarchy where, you know, creating this idea that you only have worth as a human being if you are an alpha and if you are an alpha that has special abilities, right? Like, he created this hierarchy in there, and if you weren't at very least an alpha, then you weren't worth anything to him, and therefore created this weird rivalry as well between the children that he was trafficking. You know, like it's a way to control, because you know, you make them compete against each other and you make them have resentments against each other, and so because they're so focused on each other and on pleasing him, they don't realize until later how much that they are actually being manipulated and being controlled and being brainwashed. And so, you know, obviously we're over the course of the series, we're seeing, you know, several of the, you know, children, the victims of this trafficking ring, kind of experience the liberation, you know, from Babe to Charlie to Jeff, Pete, Wei, and now Ken. And Ken is, I think, struggling the most because he's, of the people that I just listed, he's the only one who did not have a power. And so everybody else has some kind of secret power, you know, mind reading, extra senses, they're an enigma, whatever, they can see the future, whatever. All of them have powers, but Ken doesn't. And so his experience, while they were all trafficked and they all had shit experiences, Ken's was very unique because he went in. I'd say the one who probably could relate to him the most is maybe Charlie, but because Tony didn't think that Charlie had a power, but all he did was just throw Charlie out. You know, when he realized that he didn't have a power, he just threw him out because he didn't, you know, he wasn't able to, I guess in his mind, utilize him in another way. Whereas Tony looked at Ken, saw that he didn't have a power, made sure he felt as worthless as possible, but he found that he could use him as a dog, his words, you know, so he kept him around. And so the abuse continued throughout like the last 10 years. Like he never got away from it. And so it makes sense to me that he would have the hardest time getting out of that mindset, and getting out of the brainwashing and really making a change, and finding liberation and finding, you know, his own self-worth. Like it's hard to deprogram something like that. So I don't necessarily, I'm not surprised that he's struggling, but I do find that his story is very much probably one of the more compelling storylines that we have right now. I'm really weirdly enjoying it. I do, like I said earlier, I do kind of wish that they had spread his story out a little bit more over the course of the series. I have made no effort to hide the fact that I did not care about the car racing storyline, and so far neither does the show care about it, because we haven't had a car racing scene in like 3 episodes. Do we even remember that? Like, you know, like since Charlie died, like, and it was purely so that they could set up Charlie's death. Like, we haven't actually cared about any of these racing tournaments, which frankly I'm fine with, because the human trafficking is the more engaging storyline and also the more urgent storyline. We could like join this racing circuit in the next season. Who cares? Who cares about this fucking race car shit? Okay? There are kids being trafficked. Okay? Like, and we can do something about it, you know, directly. So, you know, I'm glad that the story recognized that, like, the car racing part is just whatever. Who cares? You know? And that the human trafficking is the more engaging storyline. But personally, I think we could have had even less of the car racing and focused more on developing all of these people who have been exploited and used and abused, and seeing their stories unfold. I think we could have spent more time with that, to be honest. And Ken, I think, is one that we could have spent more time with. Ken and Pete, actually. Pete especially. Ken, I feel like we've had, you know, interactions with him that felt, at least for me, that felt engaging. Like, I understood his character. Whereas Pete is a little bit of a blank slate. That's another thing that I think is making it difficult for me to enjoy his scenes with Wei, is that I'm not a huge fan of the Wei character. I just am more engaged with the Ken storyline. But so because I'm not super engaged with Wei's character and his storyline, if we add in Pete and him being like super kind of, blank slatey, he's a bit blank slatey. We only just in this episode, the penultimate episode, learned what his power was. That's what I mean. Like, we have known him for this long and we do not know anything about him other than that he was human trafficked and that now he owns a company. Like, we barely see him doing his own work, by the way. Like, we barely see him at his own company, so he feels a bit, empty as well. So because of that's another reason I don't really enjoy him and the other guy. But like the moment they started showing me scenes of Pete and Ken's backstory, I was like, oh yeah, it clicked. I understood both of them immediately. I thought those scenes were really good. Last episode and in the beginning of this episode as well. And so those felt really full emotionally to me. And so I connected with those immediately. And because of that, I'm far more engaged with the Ken-Pete storyline. I don't necessarily need it to be romantic. I think they have better chemistry, but that's just, whatever. That's just, chemistry is subjective. Like, you might see chemistry where I don't, and I see chemistry where you don't, etc. So chemistry doesn't matter. But in terms of storylines, that's a more engaging storyline to me. And because of that, I would have really enjoyed having more of that earlier in the season and actually building up to that emotional moment where Ken is trying to kill Pete, but also not kill him. He wants to kill him so that he can please Tony, but he doesn't want to kill him because he loves him. And like I said, even though I like their chemistry together, and it would be enjoyable if they were romantically together, I'm okay if they weren't either. I'm okay if they, obviously I know in this story they're not going to get together romantically because Pete is with Wei. But what I'm saying is that if they had focused more on them, I would have been completely fine if it was platonic. I just think that story is super interesting. Even if we didn't have the crush and the kiss scene, the love still would be there. Like, we didn't need it to be romantic love. We didn't need them to reveal that at all, and I still would have felt the same way. But anyway, there's enough of that. I've said my piece about it, which is that I enjoy it and I wish we had it earlier. I guess to boil it down, to summarize. Other than that, we have the final scene where Pete, we do have Pete and Co barging into the auction room. I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't know what the plan is there, but I guess maybe expose him in front of the media. Gotta be something like that. Are there live cameras? I guess it doesn't matter if there are a bunch of reporters that he doesn't control, that Tony doesn't control, then, he's, SOL. And then on the other side, we have Babe finally re-meeting Charlie. His powers have been in and out, so he's kind of gotten a hint that maybe something's going on. Maybe Charlie's out there, but he hasn't verbalized it because he can't hope. He went through so much grief. Like, I do not know how he's going to react when he sees Charlie again, now that he's seen Charlie again, and when he realizes that Charlie lied to him again, that this has all been a trick, and like, oof. Like, why is it that all of his loved ones lied to him? There has not been a single one who has not lied to him. His biological father, his adoptive dad, Charlie, Wei, every single one of them. Yeah. So, we'll see how it goes. We have one more episode, and I'm ready to jump into it. I'm going to finish it out today. So I'm going to jump right into this right after this. All right, let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Going over to Patreon. By the time you're seeing this on YouTube, I will have the final episode up on my Patreon. You'll be able to watch it there. You'll also be able to see anything else that I've been reacting to. Probably by the time you're seeing this, I will have uploaded a few more episodes of other shows and things like that. But let me know what you think, and we'll jump into the final episode together, I guess. All right, see you next time. Bye.
Baby, it's whatever. All this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter.